Hello, and welcome back to the Dungeons & Dragons Podcast UK. My name is Yazmin, and I will be the DM.
Hi, my name's Spencer. I play Caddo Chasseur, a cleric from Gavany, who has a pet dog called Pickle.
Hi, my name is Samantha. I play Laura Greyvale, and she is a sorceress from the province of Nephalia.
Hello, I'm Colin, and I play Cuin de Greymont, a paladin from Thraben in the province of Gavany.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I play Ogvar Shawfort, a goat-herding, mushroom-seeking ranger from Kessig.
Caddo continued his crusade against the commanders, but by now the occupants of the cathedral were outnumbered, and as Axum's amassed forces advanced, the situation grew ever more serious. Back in the basement of the building, as the last surviving rat retreats and goes to ground, the walls are awash with blood, and the two paladins resheathe their swords. Roman and Cuin rejoin their faithful family and friends, and, not a moment too soon, as the cavalry of Avacyn's finest swept into Selhoff to aid their associates, crushing the criminal uprising intent on collaborating to curb corruption within the city. As the wrongdoers were rounded up and wrought in irons, Ogvar ventured out into the now overgrown garden to do a spot of root-veg rustling as he collected a colossal carrot of his own creation. As the Lord's quarrels with the church were quashed, the street cleansed, some familiar faces and some notable new ones stepped forward to greet Gerhardt in their deity's now slightly damaged domain. Episode 97, Religious Revelations. Hi everyone, just a moment of your time before we head back into our adventure for this week's episode. Firstly, we'd like to thank you for joining us as always, and secondly, just a quick heads up to let you know that Yazmin is due some time out for good behaviour, and with this in mind, we are releasing her into the wild next week, which means that there will not be a pod episode released. To be fair, she works her butt off with DMing and producing our show, so we are sure that you will grant her a leave of absence to catch a breather. We will be back with episode 98 on the weekend of the 12th of August, giving everyone a chance to catch up. Phew, now that's out of the way. Let's get back into it.
But yeah, so you drag your giant carrot into the church.
Laura's going to watch him just dragging the carrot into the church from a distance and frown slightly.
I'll go see it and just go, spoils of war.
Laura's just going to slowly nod, strangely, with a strange look on her face.
Pop outside the front door.
Yep.
Can I see the bits of my broken crossbow?
Ooh.
Yeah, you can see the bits of your broken crossbow.
In which case I shall gather up the pieces of my broken crossbow.
Yep.
And cast Make Whole on them,
Okay.
thus recovering my crossbow.
You have your crossbow back.
I shall then return Alora her crossbow.
Excellent. Nice one.
Thank you, Caddo. That's
You're
fine. Did
welcome.
it come in useful?
I got a few shots away. I managed to kill 2 leaders with it, so it does the job.
Fantastic. That's just perfect.
Okay, so you begin to see the kind of just general reparation process going on here. The pews which have been stacked up, these extra cathars, these 20 cathars who've arrived, they begin moving stuff back to its normal position. They begin resetting. You know, they are all over the place. You can see several of them are obviously looking after guarding the prisoners in the carriage. You can see several of them are looking after tending to horses. The horses themselves, when you look at the horses, they are foam flecked. They've clearly been ridden hard to get here. They're tidying up the outside, rolling up bodies, tidying up arrows, mopping the street. They are just generally resetting things, and you actually begin to see some people, general populace, begin to kind of curiously look around to try and figure out what's going on. Amidst all this, you have Cathars obviously inside tidying up. This Cathar, who is obviously leading the group, he's obviously remained with you. He's chatting quietly to Gerhardt and Ruth. And there are other Cathars also bringing in what looks to be a vast quantity of supplies. Talking dry supplies here, things like flour, rice, breads, cheese, yeah, long-lasting stuff. You see them actually bring in what appears to be a couple of goats, which they had on the back of the carriage. Those get walked straight through into the back garden. You'd assume it's because they know they can make cheese and get milk from them and use them for meat otherwise.
Laura's going to exchange glances with Ogvar, and she's just going to sort of indicate they're not as good as the one that you got. And just nod.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah. And you see them begin to... They also bring in things like weaponry. They're bringing in spare weaponry, equipment to repair weapons. They've just basically got all the general supplies for the church. And there are probably 2 carriages full of supplies.
Laura has questions.
Yes, okay.
Who is available for her to speak to of those notable people?
Of the notable people, you have Ruth Gerhardt and this other Cathar who is yet to introduce himself, stood around. Obviously, the church's own Cathars, Colbean is sat down giving his leg a rest, but people like Roman and Alia, they are running around helping to reset the church themselves as well.
I think Laura would go up to Ruth and sort of say to Ruth, if Robert and Kelly and Florent are over here, who's looking after the church in Dranau? And where did the sudden prison wagon come from? Is this somebody from Thraben, or where have these people arrived from?
The conversation pauses between Gerhardt and this other Cathar. And this Cathar takes a step forward. He extends a hand out to you. He's quite tall. He's about 6 foot, you'd say. He's quite a tall guy. He extends a hand out to you, which to shake.
Yeah, Laura would respond in kind.
Yeah. He smiles at you. He flashes you a very white smile. And he goes, apologies for the late introduction, miss. I am Armin Ducasse.
Ooh,
Armin Ducasse.
I love the way you always make it something so easy to spell. Thanks.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Armin. My name's Elora. I'm sure you'll meet the others pretty soon. Armin Ducasse. That's quite the name, isn't it?
Thank you. I was born with it, so to speak.
From where exactly do you hail from then?
I'm from Thraben, so I am the 3rd son of the Ducasse family.
Oh, you might know the family of Kieran de Greymont.
De Greymont, yes.
Yes, well, you'll meet Kieran shortly, I'm sure.
Yes, well, I'm sure I will. Anyway, to answer your questions, I believe Gerhardt had a little bit of something to do with this. We were contacted over a week ago, a week and some change, so to speak. We were contacted by Gerhardt and Ruth regarding the state of affairs in Selhoff, and it was put to the council, and they decided that we were to be sent a company of 20 Cathars to see if we can resolve the issue. The initial correspondence was carried out by Florent, who was taking over position at Junau's church anyways. So I believe you might have met Florent and Callie and Robert.
Yes, yeah, we had the pleasure of that. They're very nice people, yeah. And of course, Florent's grandmother, Esther. Esther Aziz, she's travelling with us now.
Yes, we've had many great tales about Esther Aziz. She's somewhat of a legend.
Yeah, I can see why as well. It's been interesting.
Yes, I'm sure it certainly has. Anyhow, we have left Cathars to take care of the church in Junau temporarily while Florent is away. But on our way back through, we shall be escorting these prisoners. Once we have resolved issues here in Selhoff, we shall be escorting these prisoners back up to Thraben for proper trial, so justice may be served. And we shall leave Robert, Callie and Florent at the church in Junau as we go. Sort of a waypoint, if you may.
I don't know how much of the story you know. I'm sure that Gerhardt's filled you in fairly well, otherwise you wouldn't be here. But Axum,
yes.
Lord Axum.
Yes.
Has he been apprehended? Because
Not yet. We've only just turned up today. It was quite the surprise when we received communication from Ruth and Gerhardt as to what was happening. It was lucky we were set to arrive tomorrow. So we've made haste to arrive here, and it seems just in the nick of time.
That was extremely helpful, because that was, whilst we were doing okay, we were doing quite well actually, but didn't really want to face that number of people. You know, we'd have probably taken some casualties, I would have thought, and nobody wants that, do they?
No. Better casualties to be on the opposing side.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the looks of it, I think your boys have been quite clinical.
Yes, well, sinners suffer by their very nature of being sinners. There's no need to make them suffer on the mortal plane any longer.
On that note, I'm not going to argue with you.
Wise decision. And he offers you a smile. It's a very joking smile.
Laura's just going to smile sweetly back, and at the same time she's going to put her hand in the air, wave over the sort of to the top to try and get Kewin's attention, and then just beckon Kewin over.
Kewin's going to look behind him. And then he's going to make his way around, not go straight, and he's going to peer repeatedly
Like a chicken!
at the Cathar.
Yeah.
And he's going to go, Armin? Is that you, Armin? Armin Ducasse, what are you doing here?
Saving your sorry ass, Kewin.
I was doing all right down there with the were-rats. It's this lot up here that was the problem.
He walks over to you and he does that thing. He claps hands with you and pulls you in for a shoulder hug, and he's got this big grin on his face.
Oh, well there, did you get many of them?
Oh, just a few. I see you've lost the mace.
Oh no, he's got it.
Oh.
By this time, Alora's beckoned the others over as well.
Couldn't resist getting hold of a big sword, though, could you, Kewin?
Oh, which one?
Compensating for something, are we?
No. What do you mean?
You know what they say, big sword, big scabbard.
The scabbards are magical, so they're all the same size to start with.
Yes, very well, Kewin, very well, Kewin. And he gives you that kind of grin where he's he's having a good laugh at your expense.
Armin, this is Cadeau Chasseur.
Cadeau?
Yeah, he escorted Florent down to and all his goods and chattels down to Drenau, and we kind of hooked up there, and he's followed.
We did no such thing. The man of the cloth, woman. How very dare you!
We've
You're in a hole, so stop digging.
he's been travelling with us ever since.
Should I try that one again?
No.
He grins at you, Cadeau, and he offers you his hand for a handshake. Shakes your hand and goes, "Yes, fellow man of the cloth, I'm doing admirably well. Pleasure to meet. Yes."
Indeed.
And who is this strapping fellow over here?
Oh, hello, I'm...
I love your helmet.
Oh, and Ogbar salutes to his bucket on his head.
Getting worse.
I feel like creating an impression.
Hello, I'm Ogbar Shawford.
I've told you before about those buttons.
Pleasure to meet. Was that a carrot you were dragging in?
Oh, yes, it was, as I said to you, it's considered spoils of war.
Excellent. I suppose we should be having carrot pie or something.
I'm sure Ruth will whip something up. Ruth's a very good cook, by the way. But also, Esther, my love, come.
Oh, hello, dearie.
Esther, this is this is Armin Ducasse.
Yes, I know, Armin. Hello, my boy. How are you doing? And she gives him a pat on the cheek and mwah, gives him a kiss on the cheek. He's like, "Oh, hello, Esther. Yes, hello, dear." She smiles at him kind of wanly and just kind of swans off to go and smother Florent again.
And Kieran will go, yeah, you always were with the older ladies, weren't you?
I would hardly call Esther old, Kieran. I would not wish to...
I said older.
Well, I would not wish her wrath upon anyone.
Oh no, she's quite handy. Especially if you're a vampire. What?
Excellent. I dare say so. Yes. Anyhow, did you have any other questions? Can I help out with you? With any other questions? Any queries?
No, I mean, Ruth and Gerhard know, all the information that we gave them, what we found out, and obviously we achieved what we set out to achieve, but obviously they've pursued us here today, which I suppose shouldn't come as a great surprise, but the numbers are a little bit overwhelming, to be fair.
Excellent. Well, Ruth and Gerhard are stood near you, and Ruth kind of nods on. She goes, "Oh, well, I will tell you all of the details, Armin. Later on, perhaps. I think we should finish tidying up and maybe do something with that carrot."
Lunch?
Yes, Caddo. Perhaps lunch.
Yes. Yeah, that's fine. Are we going to sort this Axim fellow out? Can you stay for the final strike, or are you going to disappear and take the prisoners?
Well, as far as I'm aware, Kewin, I've obviously yet to discuss the minutiae of the plan with Ruth and Gerhard. However, we have been sent down to precisely deal with the Axim issue. Take an axe to the Axim, if you so to speak.
Oh, awesome!
We were due to arrive tomorrow, but obviously with receiving Gerhardt's message of the successful raid the previous evening, we decided to make some haste, and then obviously we received word from Ruth on the Stones of Far Speech regarding what was happening, so we've rushed here today. But our general aim was to remain here for a while, which is why we have all of our goods and equipment here. This company of 20 will be staying here, remaining here to purge the city, so to speak, of its evils.
Oh, that's good. Well, tell us if you need a hand.
I believe we have it covered, Kewin. Thank you for the offer, though. I would have your swords by my side rather than anyone else's, but I believe you have other things to attend to, do you not?
Oh, yes, but, we couldn't leave this place without helping to deal with what's it behind us.
Well, I'm just guessing by looking around, Kewin, that I don't think they're going to have much trouble. I mean, they have come a bit mob-handed, haven't they? And let's face it, they're pretty capable.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And yes, we do have something that we need to be doing, don't we?
Yes, have some to eat, wasn't it?
Yeah, I meant a bit beyond dinner.
Sleep?
And beyond that. She's just going to give Armin the look, raise one eyebrow, and then just roll her eyes.
Oh, yes!
Yes, that, remember that thing? Yeah.
Excellent. So, we are in the middle of the clean-up process here. Keep house tidy. Don't want bloodstains on the bed sheets and all that. So, yes, any other questions? And I shall see you at lunch, I suppose. I will have to attend to my men first, though, so I will see you shortly. And Armin flashes a cheerful smile at all of you, turns around and returns to aiding his men in cleaning up and sorting out what is the aftermath, basically. So, in the kind of interim period here, you've now got roughly 40 cathars on site, as well as yourselves. There's quite a lot of people. The children have emerged from wherever they were probably being kept upstairs, told to wait in the war room. But the children have emerged, and Ruth quickly hustles them off, along with Gerhard, to the kitchen to help her set up lunch. She asks you if you can drag the carrot with you. Carrot is very much on the menu today. She's quite impressed by the size of it.
What about the carrot?
I was just waiting.
Yeah, drag the conversation up to the gutter.
We're expecting somebody else.
I was expecting someone else, though. I was expecting...
Paints you in such a negative light, doesn't he, Spence?
I don't know.
It's got all Italian, whatever Italian is. Meh.
God, the nights you say meh.
Yeah, that's
So yeah, It's not long before you can smell food cooking in the kitchen. A couple of the other Cathars have gone to help out. Some of the more clericy types who've obviously got nothing left to fix up or heal, they've gone to help out with the kitchen, sorting out food. And in the meantime, I assume you'd all get involved with tidying up a bit. It doesn't take long for the outsides of the church to be cleaned up. You see a lot of buckets of water being taken from the well outside to the front, and the cobbles being washed down and scrubbed down with brooms. It doesn't take long at all. The jail carriage is taken actually through the church while they've got all the pews out of the way. They lead the carriage through the church. The corridors are quite wide. They lead it out the back, through the back door, and they actually park it up in the garden outside. So all your prisoners are now parked in the garden. And
Laura's going to take herself up into a corner and just start bandaging her arm.
Yeah, okay. And you actually see some of these Cathars, now they've offloaded the goods, the food, supplies, everything they've brought with them necessary to dig in for a while to root out the evil in this city. These empty carriages, they've now taken them down. You see a couple of Cathars have taken them down to, you would say, down the dock area. They return with timber, with lumber, and they actually begin fixing up the doors. Because while they are using mending spells to fix up as much as possible, there are also bits which can't be fixed. There's too much damage. So they are fixing them up with bits of wood, bits of lumber, timber, just reinforcing everything. So by the time that lunch is ready, all of the church has kind of been put back to rights. You can still see some kind of marks on the floor. There's always going to be a bit of damage left over. It's not going to be 100% right away. It's pretty quickly, dinner's called up to the war room, and it is pretty cramped now, because although this room is quite big, 40 Cathars plus yourselves, there's a lot. And Sato has reappeared.
Standing room only. Yeah, I wonder where he got.
Of course he has. Of course he has.
Standing room only.
Well, whilst all this was going on, I would have made inquiries of those doing clear up as to whether or not they'd seen a body with one ear.
Yeah, okay, if you want to ask around, they very easily, there's a couple of quizzical looks, but eventually you do come across a young woman who looks at you and goes, yeah, I've seen a body, yeah, it's over here. And she takes you over to it, and sure enough, it is the body of this one-eared guard. She was stabbed cleanly through the throat, just impaled through the throat.
Excellent. Nothing more than she deserves. Bloody threatened my dog.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, to me, I'd imagine Pickle is by his side.
Oh, yeah, always, yeah.
She, is it a he or a she?
Pickle?
Yeah.
Very much a he.
He cocks his leg up.
To be fair, he's got a taste of it. He might try and eat it on
Do
the basis
you
he
want
ate.
your dog to desecrate the dead?
No, not at all. And I would stop him if he tried.
Okay, right.
Although he did eat one of her ears.
She was still alive at that point. That's not
That is true, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you head up for a lunch and you find a lovely pureed carrot soup, seasoned with coriander and a swirl of cream through it. You have crusty loaves of bread, almost freshly baked out of the oven, sprinkled with kind of garlic and seasoned themselves. There's a whole array of food. There is some meat. Clearly there hasn't been enough time to properly roast or cook any vast quantities of meat, but you do see a bit of meat on the table. But it's quite a vegetarian meal. There's salads. There's tossed salad, bits of crouton,
Coleslaw, carrot cake.
Yeah, you see.
Carrot surprise.
Yeah, it's just a lot of carrot, spiralised carrot arranged very prettily. It's a lot of carrot.
Well, I'm going to turn to the other four and say, I suppose now that they've got all this sorted, I suppose we could go and see Ujimi Bob on the old tower and get the...
You mean Genric?
Yeah, I knew his name, but I didn't want to say his name because we don't really want everybody to know exactly what we're doing.
Ujimi Bob it is then.
Ujimi Bob, yeah. And get the... are we still going to get the horse and cart?
Oh, you're talking about travelling down to the
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Our onward journey.
Yes, our onward journey.
Yeah, Caddo, I'm leaking a bit through these bandages. Do you think you could?
Oh, I
see
assumed with all these clerics about, something had already been done for you, my dear.
No, but well, I think everyone was just a bit busy, and I didn't like to ask.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, no, I could sort you out.
Well, I thought we'd set off first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I assumed we were going sometime after dinner.
Which one?
I think it's going to be a bit of a squeeze. I wonder where all these cathars are still.
I don't know, but I left my kit on my bed, so nobody's claiming it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, we were kind of roused, weren't we? So my stuff's still in there as well.
How badly hurt are you anyway, my dear? How much do you need?
Well, you know, I'm a bit sort of
A bit under the
bleeding
weather.
out a little bit at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
In which case, I shall supplicate myself as ever, just so that I can max out.
Is there floor space for him to do that? Everyone treats him like a rug.
The rug of devouring. And we shall go with. Let's go with a cure moderate wounds. With 24 points, do you?
That would be fantastic. Thank you very much.
How are you feeling over there, Kieran?
Well, I'll be all right if we're going Are we going tomorrow morning, or? Because I'll be all right after a good night's rest. You know me, young, healthy. You know, I have no problem with the age thing, so.
Question is Laura listening?
No.
Wow, okay.
The corks hanging off her hat are blocking the sound waves.
Okay, so Laura is healed by Caddo, and you're feeling a lot better. So lunchtime is a quite jolly affair. You know, there is again quite a bit of booze flowing throughout the room. Everyone's kind of celebrating a good job, well done. And yeah, it's pretty good. So throughout the rest of the afternoon, what are you doing?
I think Ogvar would join in with the merriment. He'd go over and get himself some carrot food.
Carrot food.
Carrot food. He'd probably struggle to find a seat anywhere, so he'd just tip his head forward, let the bucket drop off his head. He'd use the bucket as a seat, and once he's finished, just leave it there for someone else to.
Laura makes a mental note that she's actually really impressed with this bucket because she can see its multifunctional purposes.
Right, okay.
So, and yeah, he'd just eat his dinner, and that's about it.
In her mind, she's ticking off all the things that you can do with buckets. So in her head, she's thinking, oh, you can fill it with water, you can protect your head with it, you can sit on it. Ooh.
You mean you're writing a bucket list?
Jesus.
She's running through a bucket list in her head. Yes, that's the one.
I'm out, I'm done. Done.
Kieran
That's it.
would just clean his armour, sharpen his sword just in case on the way through, decapitating various rats that, you know, he caught a bit of a nick here and there.
Yeah. You probably get the odd, as Armin passes you probably get the odd comment about polishing your sword with a cheeky grin on his face.
I'll go, yes, I've got to keep it sharp.
It's as sharp as your wits, Kieran. Haha.
I don't think I can get it that sharp.
But yeah, it's a fairly peaceful afternoon. The cathars who've been cleaning up outside have finally finished. They come back inside. The horses are stabled elsewhere. The church has alternative arrangements for stabling their horses. And yeah, it turns into a fairly peaceful yet busy afternoon. So in terms of hospitality, Ruth, obviously, she's not going to kick you out. You're more than welcome. She tells you that you're more than welcome to stay as long as you need. But if she could have a bit of help with a bit of cleaning, that would be lovely. So she's on a mission now to find accommodation for all of these cathars. There are quite a few unused rooms in this church, mostly in the two towers. So she will be on an absolute cleaning spree, cleaning these rooms up, setting up beds. You can see that there are actually beds which are being broken down in these rooms themselves, obviously put in there for storage because they're not being used.
Laura will give her a hand. She'll offer to give her a hand with all of that.
Yeah, so Ruth is on an absolute goer, just setting up rooms, cleaning up the place, setting up rooms for these cathars. And yeah, it's pretty...
Can Caddo try and catch Ruth at some stage?
Yes, you are more than welcome to.
And ask if he could have a brief private conference with her and Gerhardt during the evening.
Yes, she absolutely 100% agrees to that, absolutely. And yeah, it's pretty busy. Ruth has been given a break from the cooking. There are others doing the cooking in the kitchen. She still manages to stop Gerhardt from getting into the cookie jar, as probably as you wander past Ogvar, you see Gerhardt reaching for the cookie jar, and Ruth just materialises out of nowhere, smacks his hand with a ladle, and disappears again. As quickly as she came, and Gerhardt, oh, bother whippersnapper.
She's lethal with that ladle, isn't she?
Very much so.
Should have been useful outside the front doors, but
Ladle everybody.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a fairly quiet afternoon. At some point, Ruth will grab all of you. Most likely in the kitchen. She'll probably gather you up in the kitchen as there are other cathars bustling around, prepping food and stuff. There's a lot of meat roasting. It smells absolutely wonderful in there. But she will take you all to the one side and she'll say to you, right, I believe there is a small matter to consider here, and that is our thanks for all you have done. Not only have you undertaken the great deed of retrieving our lost property, you have also stood in stolid defence of this church, and that is something which we will never truly be able to fully repay, I don't believe. However, as Gerhardt said, we do wish to aid you in your journey in whatever way we may. So I wish to offer you all the opportunity to take an item of your choice from our coffers. Magical item. It is the least that you deserve. Whether you wish to keep sacred scabbards, whether you wish to keep your boots of leaping, please let me know, and you are more than welcome to take a magical item of your choosing.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Ruth. It's most kind of you. But, yes, I think I will. I think I will keep the boots. They're quite comfortable. So, thank you very much for that.
And may they serve you well over the miles.
I'm sure they will.
Nora will sort of incline her head slightly and then look Ruth directly in the eye and just say, well, Ruth, I obviously I made a sacrifice but got something quite great in return for it. I know it's only borrowed and one day it will come back to you, but I have the eye. I wouldn't like to take too many things from the church, so I wonder if I may borrow another item that I can perhaps return.
If that is what you wish, but the eye, as Gerhardt and I said, is something entirely different. That is a sacrifice you have made in the service of Avacyn, and that is the appropriate recompense. So please, take this as a recompense from us personally, an item of your choosing.
Could I please take the mug of mirth? It's only a small item. It's not overly powerful. I wouldn't want to take anything overly powerful. I've already got the eye.
You are more than welcome to take that, dear. So for reference, for everyone else on the table, you have got those items on the list, which are the...
the Leap of Faith boots have gone.
Yep.
The Cloak of Curing.
As long as everyone's all right with that.
Yeah, I'm fine.
The Mug of Mirth. The Eye of Avacyn. The Weeping Flower of Mercy.
That's brilliant.
The Blessed Silver Powder of Blasting. Truth, which Kewin currently has. Malice, the book that becomes a hammer. The Feather of Respite and Wolf Song. The flute that increases.
Yeah. There is also Arcane Thieves' Tools, a Bag of Flames, 30 Blessed Bandages, 10 Blast Globes, a Censer of the Last Breath, Portable Foxhole, Powder of the Black Veil, Skin of the Celestial, Personal Oasis, Scrolls of Uncertain Provenance, Sacred Scabbard by 10, Sphere of Awakening by 5, Spool of Endless Rope, Survival Pouch by 2, True Light Lantern by 5, Bow of the Winter Moon, Crystal Echo Blade, Meteoric Knife, Sword of Virtue Beyond Reproach, Amulet of Emergency Healing, 15 of those, Amulet of Retributive Healing, 12 of those, Armband of Elusive Action, Belt of Hidden Pouches, Belt of Theft Healing, Collar of Healing, Fast Speaking Amulets, 12 of those. If you wish to change your selection, you can. I'm not gonna lock you in.
I thought it was off this list. Oh my god.
There is quite a list.
Ruth, would it be okay if
I managed to write down thieves' tools.
Ruth, would it be okay if I had a think about what might be useful?
Of course, dear. There is no rush. As long as before you go, because it'd be a little bit difficult to send it via airmail.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the offer. Let me have a think. If I did take something, it would be something that would be useful for everybody.
Okay, that's very well, dearie. Well, are you still happy with your boots?
He's like,
Yes, but would it be worth, out of character, actually going through what is what?
Okay, so if you've got to take a little time to decide, obviously you don't have to decide right now, you can tell Ruth even before you were about to leave, you can tell her. You can tell her. No, you don't have to either. You don't feel an obligation to take anything. You can take something if you want it, but no obligation.
adventurous. Why wouldn't you? Let's face it.
So, okay, so it's been quite busy. Evening rolls around quite quickly. There's a lot been going on, and you eventually settle down to have dinner. It's a big jovial dinner. Armin is sat by you queuing, reminiscing about old times and all the fun you got up to. And what would you say your relation is with Armin? How long would you have known him?
Well, I'd probably... I'd imagine he's a bit older than me, because I'm still very young. I'm 22.
Yeah, he's late 30s, early 40s.
So I'd imagine he'd probably know my older two brothers and possibly Casper.
Yeah.
And probably I traipsed behind them and was generally a nuisance that they sent for very various go and fetch this, fetch that, fetch this, fetch that, and play practical jokes and on me and all that sort of thing.
So he's kind of like a big brother, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Armin will sit by you and he'll have a chat with you and he'll talk about your older brothers and kind of let you know how they're doing, because obviously you haven't seen them for quite a while now.
Yeah.
So he'll have a chat to you, let you know how you're doing. Probably catch up with you on what Casper's up to, and you know you'll probably say, Laura works for Casper, this something. You'll probably have a really nice chat over dinner and actually just catch up and get a bit of the gossip about what's going on in the noble houses in Thraben, and who's offended who, and which lady has been having an affair, an extramarital affair with which lord.
And I will then turn and say, do you remember you sent me on that trek into the forest and I got lost? This is the fella that found me. Known him ever since, because that was part of my story, wasn't it? I got lost in the forest. He found me and got me back, and it was him that sent me on him and my older brothers who sent me on the trek.
Well, it was good for your stamina, wasn't it?
Well, yes, it was lucky I found out. I didn't know where the hell I was.
Some orienteering would be good for you.
Oh yes, it would have been if you'd have actually allayed me a compass.
Well, trial by fire, Q. Trial by fire. It's all in good jest. You're still here, aren't you?
Oh yes.
Exactly. No harm, no foul. And dinner is quite a lovely affair. The Cathars have gone to town. There is a full selection of meats. They've obviously had enough time to cook this time around. You have joints of ham, sausages. You have very kind of beef. You see the odd kind of bits of lamb, other meat, bird. There is a varied selection, a little bit of everything. You see a lovely, absolutely gorgeous looking chicken pie filled with mushroom, broccoli. It's got
Carrot.
But you said beautiful chicken pie.
Beautiful chicken pie, and then she started pulling stuff in it.
Broccoli in it.
broccoli, chunks of carrot in it, and it's in this beautifully enclosed pastry. It's got this beautiful puff pastry top, basted with egg, so it shines with this kind of golden hue in the candlelight. It is a lovely dinner. There is lots and lots to eat. Carrot, more carrot, chopped carrot, cubed carrot, grated carrot, carrot in a salad, glazed.
Puree.
Yeah.
Carrot surprise.
More carrot soup.
Surprises it's all carrot.
Yeah, there is a lot of carrot going on at the moment. But you have ale, you have mead. Ruth cracks out a barrel of wine. And yeah, it's a lovely, lovely dinner. You see that chairs have been pulled in from all over the place. You can actually see they've hauled up a pew from one of the church pews to put along the one side of the wall so everyone can have a seat and a sit down. And it's just a really nice meal. You see Sato in the corner, perched in the corner, just he's taken a bit of carrot and he's managed to carve it into a flute.
Oh, lovely.
Of course he has.
And he's playing a jolly little tune on his carrot flute, and it is quite amazing that he's managed to get that sound from a carrot. And yeah, it's just a really, really nice meal. So after dinner, people pack away, tidy up. Caddo, you're approached by Ruth. And she goes, "Oh, you wanted to have a conversation, dear?"
Yes. If I could have a private audience with you and Gerhardt.
Of course.
Later, that would be
I cannot guarantee that Gerhardt will stay awake, but we shall try.
No,
our
I was expecting that. That's why I asked you to come along as well.
Excellent. Well, if you want to come over, we've got there's a small private little room, little alcove, like a little reading nook almost. And Gerhardt's already ensconced himself there by a fire, big blanket over his knees. Yeah, and she settles down, and there's another chair there for you.
Perfect. I will discuss with you what we discussed earlier. Okay.
Excellent. So Ruth and Gerhardt very happily agree for this to happen. They are more than happy, more than welcoming, and they welcome you with open arms, basically.
Super.
Okay. So you're all going to go to bed. You probably turn in quite late, reasonably late. Obviously there is still a bit of wariness, a bit of precaution around what if another attack happens, and Armin does actually starts taking control in a more military fashion. He's not stepping on Ruth's toes. He discusses everything with Ruth, but his own cathars he's kind of amalgamated into the church's resident force, and he's set a couple of them to kind of go up onto the top towers and keep watch on the top towers, and while you're there, tidy it up a bit and see if you can fix them shingles on the roof, kind of thing. And yeah, so it's pretty, he's running it pretty tight at the moment, especially with the close proximity that previous encounter was. Okay, so you go to bed. You have a wonderful night's sleep. You can heal up according to normal rules. So you can heal up fully if you're above half of your total if you're below half. You wake up in the morning feeling well rested and ready for the day ahead. What are you all doing? I'd assume, Caddo, that you'd have got up early and joined the Cathars in their worship morning prayers.
Yep.
Okay. So what is everyone else doing? You've probably all kind of got up, got ready for the day. You'll find that there's a big breakfast being cooked in the kitchen, and you'll probably all meet up at the kitchen, or at the kitchen table, at the dining table. People are crammed on. They're, got the whole, as you do on a kind of like a trestle bench table, where there's too many people, and invariably people at the end have like one butt cheek on, one butt cheek off. But you're all crowded in the kitchen, and you're having a lovely breakfast. So what are you doing for the day?
I think after breakfast, Allura would beckon to the rest of the party and just peel off into a side room somewhere to have a discussion. Maybe just beckon them into a side room.
Okay. So you beckon them into a side room. I take it everyone's going to go.
Yep.
Why not? It's always entertaining to follow Allura into a room.
Okay.
Guys, Esther, we seem to have concluded some business here, and everybody seems to have it under control. Excuse me. Have it under control. I know that we've got to move on. We've been here quite a while, a lot longer than we anticipated. We were supposed to be just passing through, but Kieran, we've still got something that we're supposed to be doing. So I assume that we're going to be looking to leave Selhoff as soon as possible, aren't we?
Oh yes, I'd agree. You said we was only passing through. We should have only been here a day or so. But yes, things seem to take a little longer. But all for a good cause, I think.
Yes, I mean, we're going to go over to old Jenric's tower. We did talk about it before, and we talked about a wagon and 4 horses, but we decided not to get it straight away because stabling. So we could always go down and get that, and then head off. Yes, Pickle. You want more breakfast? You're as bad as Caddo.
He just walked straight off again. He just said his piece and buggered off.
He's good at that, isn't he? He's an absolute peach.
It's brilliant.
I think you can find he's a bit more than a peach.
He's an absolute arse at times. Thank you, podcast puppy there. We were talking about getting a wagon, as you say, Kieran, and the 4 horses, so maybe that's something we can acquire, but when do we want to actually go? When were you thinking? I mean, I know we've only just done, but it looks like everything's under control here.
Yeah, I don't know about the rest of you, but I think we should ask to make sure, doubly sure, that they've got everything under control, and then find out if they need any bits and pieces, and leave.
Yeah, I say that. Yeah, I said that's probably a good idea.
Yeah,
so
what do you think, Aura?
Oh yes, the only thing I may need to do is resupply on a few arrows. I got through quite a few, covering the rear, as they say. And,
Yeah.
But yes, once I've done that, and there may even be some lying around here with the supplies. I'll ask. But yes, I believe we should probably best to get on the way today. I assume.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, you and Caddo might have sort of figured out how to drive these sort of things, or whatever you call it. Because I was sat on the back of my wagon, just swinging my feet. So
yeah,
I didn't take
that's a point actually. Somebody's got to drive the wagon. I'm not.
Well, I think we got enough from Ben and Ricky, didn't we?
It's not hard.
I don't know.
Make sure the horse is pointing in the right direction and say, "Giddy up, Buttercup."
I think you have to use the name of whichever horse it is.
Oh, I thought that was all called Buttercup.
Yeah, okay, so should we go and see Ruth and see if anybody actually wants to... She did make a nice offer last night, and if anybody does want any items from the church or an item that they've offered, then I think we should go and let her know what that is, and then perhaps we should just go and arrange... Maybe we can ask one of the cahootz to go and arrange us some horses and a wagon. They'll know where to go for them. We'll just stay in the gold for it and ask them to arrange for it. That might be a good idea.
Yeah, that sounds about right. If there's any bits and pieces you want, go and get them from town.
Yeah, you could do that quickly while somebody's sourcing the horses and the wagon for us.
Well, I don't need anything from town, so...
I don't think I do.
Oh, just arrows for me, like I said. Caddo, anything for you?
I'm good.
Okay, well I think that concludes it. We'll go and see Ruth, I suppose.
Okay. Yes.
Do you guys want to stay here? I'll go and fetch Ruth, and then we can have a private conversation.
Yes, I wouldn't want to be, everybody else.
No, it's private business. Laura will leave the room. She will go and find Ruth and ask Ruth if she will come to join us in the private room for a brief discussion.
Yeah, so Ruth is currently talking to some of her cahootz, probably Hall and Gerlock, just having a bit of a chatter, obviously giving instructions, do this, do that, do the other. And yeah, she sees you coming in, breaks off. She goes, "Oh, hello dear, how can I help?"
Oh, hi Ruth. Would you mind joining us in... We've picked a room over there because we were having a private discussion. I wonder if you'd like to come across the hall and just have a bit of a chat with us with regard to something you said last night. If that's okay.
Of course, dear. Yes, lead on.
Laura walked back down the hall, go back into the room, and when Ruth's come through, she's going to shut the door behind her. And,
Yep.
And we're going to mug her.
It's not at all ominous.
Thanks for joining us, Ruth. We've had a brief discussion, and we have a mission, an onward mission, as I'm sure you'll know. That damn dog!
I'm sorry.
Can you not keep him under control?
Breakfast. He wants more breakfast.
Right. Where was I? We've had a brief discussion, and we've decided that as we've got an onward journey to go, we've already been waylaid for quite some time. We were only planning to stop over in Selhoff for a day or two, but it's not kind of worked out that way. So we we've decided that I think you have things covered here. You've got plenty of hands on deck, and we're going to push on and complete what we've got to do, or at least attempt to. So we'll probably be leaving later on today, Ruth. So first of all, I wanted to thank you for your hospitality, and secondly, your kind offer of items from the church, of an item each. I think I've had to think about it, and I think I would like to at least borrow something, maybe on just a bit of a permanent loan, something that can always come back to you at some point.
Yes, of course. What would you like?
Don't know, I've forgotten what it's called.
That's good. We don't have one of those in stock.
I'd like to lucky dip the bag.
Yeah. I think I'd like to borrow, if I may, the bag of flames.
Certainly, yes. We shall arrange that so that you can take those with you, yes.
Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you, Ruth. It will be looked after.
I'm sure it will. And anyone else? Kewin, perhaps? Have you made up your mind?
Yes, I'll just hand you this back. I hand her the scabbard back. That was for my bastard
Much
sword.
obliged.
And said, is it possible to have the celestial skin?
Skin of the Celestial? Yes, dear, yes. We'll sort those out for you in a jiffy. Yes. Ogvar, are you staying with the boots, are you?
Ogvar will sort of nod and do a small rudimentary attempt to tap dance routine with the boots on. And say, oh yes, I'm very, very pleased with these boots. And if I could keep them, I'd be most grateful.
Of course, dear, of course. And Caddo, have you decided on an item for yourself?
As you know, Ruth, post our discussion yesterday evening, it probably won't be necessary. I'll explain to the others in a minute, but probably not needed.
Very well. Okay, I shall, if there's nothing else, I'll go and start arranging those for you.
There is just one more thing, Ruth. We were planning on buying a wagon and 4 light horses. We still need to do that, but obviously we don't really know the best place in town to go and do that. We have some other small items that we may need to just gather for our journey. Have you got one of your cahootz spare that might be able to go and source those for us? And perhaps we can either pick them up, or if they can bring them here, it's whatever's convenient. Do you think one of your cahootz would mind?
No, certainly not. So what was it you wanted, dear?
We wanted a general goods wagon, sort of a medium-sized one, nothing too big, and 4 light horses.
Yes,
okay.
And possibly feed for 2 weeks, please.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
going to need something to eat, aren't they? But obviously, we will pay for those.
Is it 4 light horses, was it? Sorry.
It was, yes.
Okay. I shall send Gerlock out to sort that one out. Gerlock has the best eye for horses. Yes, very well. Okay then, if there's nothing else, dearie, I'll go and get those sorted for you.
Thank you, Ruth. No, that's everything. You've been most kind.
Yeah, very well. Okie dokie, off I go. And she turns around and leaves the room, obviously to go and arrange things. Ruth has now left the room, leaving the 5 of you, plus Pickle, alone. What are you doing now?
I think Ogvar will just turn into Caddo and just look expectantly at him. He's been told he's going to find something out.
Okay.
Yes?
So, Kewin, I need to have a chat with you at some stage about what's going on. So I'll catch you in a moment, if I may, somewhere.
Yeah, no problem.
Alora will slip into town, and she will...
That sounds painful.
Yeah, well, it's downhill. It's good. Alora will slip into town.
I blame those shoes you bought.
Guys, you'll have to excuse me. I'm just going to slip into town quickly. Oh, this is just something small I want to get. Is there anybody else wants anything?
Oh yes, I need to go see the Fletcher,
Okay.
and we'll leave these 2 to it, I think.
That's fine. Ogvar and Allura will slip into town. Allura is going to go and purchase a large empty vial, or a large bottle with a secure top on it.
Right. So how large a bottle are we talking about here? Just like a 500ml bottle.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Which, yeah. That's what she wants to. What she wants to buy one of those. So how much would that set her back?
Probably talking about two silver.
Okay, fine. And that's all that she wants from town.
Okay, Ogvar.
Ogvar's just looking to replenish. He spent 10 arrows, I believe, during the last 10. So he's quite happy to spend 1 gold piece, if that's how much it is, for just refill his arrows. Really, that's okay.
Yep, sure. You can more than able to do that. Is anybody wanting? So between Ogvar and Allura, are you wanting to get any more supplies, any more rations, anything you might have depleted in this in-between time? You know from your maps that there isn't any other large city between Selhoff and Gemrick's Tower. There might be some smaller settlements which aren't marked on the map, but there isn't a large city like Selhoff.
Allura still has 6.5 dehydrated rations in a pack, and I think she's just going to travel light by just using those.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'll still be alright, the dehydrated meals, won't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're about to have a wagon, you might as well put stuff on it.
Yeah, but I mean, all our packs will be on it. Will be on it. But I've still got 12.
I suppose we could. I think, based on that fact that they're going to have the wagon, I think Allura would have bought perhaps a sack of apples as well. Like
Okay.
a small sack of apples. Just some
they'll
fruit.
probably only. Yeah, they'll probably only cost you about 5 silver for a sack of apples.
Okay.
So, out of character, is it worth going to the guild to pick a job up on the way, or we just go straight for it? Because last time we picked jobs up between.
Yeah, we're on the way back from town. Ogvar and Allura would probably bob into the guild and see if there are any tasks out that side of town. So we're heading south, aren't we?
East.
East?
Yes.
South from where we are.
Southeast.
Southeast.
Diagonal.
Okay, yeah.
Southeast.
Okay.
As we picked up the proceedings, Armin Ducasse and his Cathars had announced their arrival in animated fashion. After greetings, introductions and explanations, Cuin and Armin fondly reminisce over their familial ties and good times as they find themselves deep in conversation and camaraderie. Whilst watching this exchange, Allura looks on both enthralled and captivated by this champion of the church, whom she finds a definite crowd pleaser and exceptionally easy on the eye. As the Selhoff situation is seemingly now in hand, and the holy seat of Thraben has placed itself at the helm, fear of further reprisals rapidly fade as Ruth turns her attention to supplying some celebratory sustenance to her guests. There are many extra mouths to feed, and as Ruth returns to the kitchen to rustle up some hearty fare, Ogvar's offering of a gargantuan garden delight definitely helps to prop up the portions from the pantry, and copious amounts of carrot cuisine appear on the menu. Hey, you made it this far, so lend us your ears for a moment longer if you will. Firstly, we are most humbled that you are enjoying our yarn, and the crew thank you from the bottom of their hearts for your patronage. Producing this podcast is incredibly hard work, and as such, if you would like to support us, there are a few ways in which you could really make a difference. Sharing links to friends and family helps to spread the word so others like you can find us, and in turn they too can enjoy the show. Equally helpful is leaving a 5-star review on Spotify and any other streaming services, which will help us immensely. Or, if you feel you could go that extra mile and contribute a few coppers to keep our creative juices flowing, you can hop on over to our Buy Me a Coffee page or drop us an email. We would all be immensely grateful for your support in any form. Lastly, we invite you to visit our website, where you will find information on our campaign from backstories to settings. Join our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter. All the links are in our episode bios. Don't forget to smash the subscribe and download buttons so you never miss the next episode. See you all again next week, folks.